Hello everyone. This is Man United Inside again on it. Welcome back again.
Why Andre Onana is staying with Manchester United for 2 more games before AFCON release. Man United will get to keep Andre Onana until the middle of January before he links up with Cameroon for the Africa Cup of Nations. Andre Onana will be available to play for Manchester United against Wigan Athletic in the FA Cup and Tottenham in the Premier League before he leaves to represent Cameroon in the Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. United and the Cameroonian Football Federation have come to an agreement that will see Onana link up with his international colleagues immediately after the game against Spurs at Old Trafford on Sunday, January 14th. He will arrive in Ivory Coast to be available for Cameroon's opening group game against Guinea, which kicks off 23 hours after United's game will have finished. Premier League clubs were given a deadline of January 1st to release their players for the tournament, and it meant West Ham were without Ghana international Mohamed Kudus for their game with Brighton last night, while Mohamed Salah will link up with Egypt after playing for Liverpool on New Year's Day. But Cameroon officials have agreed to be flexible with Onana's release date due to his desire to show loyalty to United and protect his status as first-choice goalkeeper after a £47 million summer move from Inter Milan. The 27-year-old has played every minute of the season so far, but when he goes away it will hand a chance to £4.2 million backup Altay Bayindir. Onana joined United having retired from international duty after a fallout with Cameroon manager Rigobert Song during the World Cup last year. At the time the deal was concluded, he told the club he wasn't expecting to leave mid-season for AFCON, but he was talked out of retirement by officials within the Cameroon FA. While he is proud to be back in the international fold, he wanted to stay at Old Trafford as long as he could. He is missing Cameroon's pre-tournament training camp in Saudi Arabia and a friendly with Zambia next Tuesday. If Cameroon were to be knocked out in the group stages, it means Onana wouldn't miss any games, as United don't play between January 14th and a potential FA Cup 4th round fixture on the weekend of January 27th. If they are knocked out in the round of 16, he could be back for the Premier League with Wolves on February 1st, but if the indomitable Lions go all the way, Onana will miss games against Wolves, West Ham and Aston Villa. Man United transfer imminent, with expert confirming attacker could play over the next week. Jadon Sancho's potential move to Borussia Dortmund from Man United is now imminent, and it is possible that the Englishman will play in Spain this week, according to reports. The Red Devils winger began the season on the bench in their first 3 Premier League matches before Erik ten Hag dropped him out of the squad completely for their 3-1 loss at Arsenal in early September. Ten Hag insisted it was Sancho's poor performances in training that had cost him his place in the squad, with the England international denying those claims and posting on social media that he was being used as a scapegoat for their bad start to the season. Sancho deleted his post but has since refused to apologize to Ten Hag, his coaching team, for his comments, and he was subsequently banned from first-team facilities by the Man United boss. That has meant that Sancho is certain to leave temporarily in the January transfer window. Juventus, Barcelona, West Ham, Dortmund and Saudi Arabian clubs all linked. But it now appears that Dortmund have won the race to sign Sancho, and Sky Germany reporter Patrick Berger insists that a deal is now imminent. Dortmund have headed off on a mid-season break in Spain, where they will play a number of friendly matches, and, with a deal at the final stages, Berger adds that it's possible that the Englishman will play in Spain this week. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano insists Sancho has given the green light to Dortmund, and the Bundesliga club want to be fast and sign him now. Romano wrote in his Caught Offside column, "Let's start by discussing Jadon Sancho, who is close to leaving Manchester United. This is something already decided some months ago after his relationship with the club was broken, with Erik ten Hag and the whole coaching staff. After initial interest from Juventus, talks are now ongoing between Borussia Dortmund and Manchester United for Sancho. He could return to his former club on loan. They can't make it permanent. Dortmund have to find a way to make a loan deal work, and so the clubs are discussing the details of the deal, such as loan fee and salary coverage. These are being discussed right now. Talks are taking place about these 2 points, and Dortmund can only cover a part of his salary and not 100% from what I'm told. An important point is that Sancho has already given the green light to Dortmund. He's said yes to the Bundesliga giants as he thinks returning there could be the best move for him for the next 6 months, for him to finally be in an environment where he can give his best. Sancho has already said yes to the move after positive conversations with different people at Dortmund. He wants to return, and so the clubs are now discussing the loan deal. As previously reported, Juventus were interested in Sancho as well, but in the end they were not open to paying that kind of money for a player. Who's leaving the club in 5 months? Let's see if they look for alternatives in that position. Sancho's loan back to Dortmund could happen soon because conversations are ongoing and Dortmund want Sancho as soon as possible. They want to be fast and sign him now, not at the end of the month. They also want to sign a new left back as soon as possible. And keep an eye on the future of Dortmund striker Daniel Malen, because I'm told he could leave this January, and it could be part of the domino effect of the Sancho deal. And else, Shaw, Casemiro, and Mount, Man United injury list and expected return dates ahead of Wigan clash, all the latest injury news and updates for Man United ahead of their FA Cup encounter with League One side Wigan Athletic. Manchester United will be hoping to put their Premier League woes to one side when they travel the relatively short distance to face Wigan Athletic in the FA Cup third round on Monday night. The Red Devils endured a patchy festive period in the top flight and currently find themselves 8th in the table after picking up just 1 win in their past 5 outings. Erik ten Hag will be aiming to go one better in the FA Cup this season, having seen his side beaten by bitter rivals Manchester City in the final at Wembley last term. An Ilkay Gundogan brace ultimately proved enough to cancel out a Bruno Fernandes equaliser that day, with City running out 2-1 winners. But if the Red Devils are to get their cup campaign off to a positive start by avoiding an upset against the Latics, they will need to do so without a number of key first-team talents. With that in mind, here is Manchester United's complete injury list, as well as expected return dates where possible. Shaw missed a decent chunk of the festive period due to a muscular problem, and it is understood that he is currently being assessed ahead of the trip to Wigan. If the England international does not return on Monday, there is a good chance he will be available against Tottenham the following Sunday, January 14th. Tyrell Malaysia, another fullback who has missed his fair share of action this season. Malaysia finally looks to be nearing a return to first-team football. Erik ten Hag has previously stated that the Dutchman would be available in the new year, and indeed, he could be back as soon as January 14th. Lisandro Martinez, one of several players expected back in mid-January. Martinez has been suffering from a foot injury during the first half of the campaign, but is understood to be closing in on a return to full fitness. Victor Lindelof, yet another defensive absentee. Lindelof is currently sidelined with a groin complaint. Speaking just before Christmas, ten Hag said, Victor is not available. He has done surgery, so he will be out for a couple of weeks. With the holiday season now properly finished, the Swede may be nearing contention, and, assuming he isn't in the squad for the clash against Wigan, he could feature against Spurs. Harry